Joining me now, civil rights attorney Leo Terrell, who was with us in Minneapolis at the start of the Chauvin trial, and Geraldo Rivera, Fox News correspondent at large, a veteran of covering trials for many years, as we watch the Chauvin trial get close to the end of the prosecution's case here. But I want to start with what happened with Daunte Wright, because we've all seen the news conference, we've all watched the video at this point. Leo, what's your take?
Well, you're going to have three parallel tracks going. You're going to have the administrative process, Martha, where the officer is entitled to due process. You're going to have a civil lawsuit because there's a wrongful death case, so the family is going to sue the police department. And then you're going to have a criminal investigation to see if the officer's conduct was reckless and warrant criminal charges. All three process, Martha, requires due process. We need to wait and let all those actions play out.
Geraldo, your take on the Daunte Wright situation at this point?
Another traffic stop, Martha, another warrant, another dead black man at the hands of cops. I mean, at one point, you have to say to yourself, what the hell is going on here? It is, let's say it's a tragic accident. The gun was in the cop's hand. In Minnesota, under Minnesota law, if you shoot a person thinking you're shooting a deer, you're out hunting, that's involuntary manslaughter. I think that the criminal track that Leo describes should take precedent here, because that community needs to know that it's not open season on black men. This is gone on too long, too many cases, too much pain and suffering, Martha. There's no doubt but that black men have a different experience when they're stopped by cops than white men do, or white people do. It is intolerable and extremely painful, Martha.
Leo, do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Absolutely not. The Ferguson case, during the Obama administration, they found out there was no racial pattern in practice. This is the type of language that will create a riot type of discussion. As we had this fatal shooting right here, it's an accidental shooting. What about the officer in New Mexico, Martha, who was shot at point blank
horrible.
range?
I watched that video today.
You have to look at these things.
Horrible.
It's horrific, horrific. So we cannot make a general allegation, as my colleague Geraldo said, and it's like shooting black men. That is a very incendiary type of comment that will generate protest and rioting and criminal misconduct. I disagree with it.
You know, we heard today. Do you want to respond to that, Geraldo?
Well, I'm delighted to be on with my colleague Leo Terrell, who is a very experienced civil rights attorney, and he speaks the truth and he cites the law correctly. But Martha, this is a pain that is visceral in the black community in our country. That rioting that happened last night, a lot of that was a spontaneous combustion. It doesn't need rhetoric to inflame people who are saying, here is Derek Chauvin, whose knee killed, by all accounts, George Floyd, less than 10 miles away. There's a trial of this cop that's generating incredible tension, and in that environment, in that very area, just a stone's throw from each other, here you have another black man killed in an encounter with white cops. Yeah. It's just, I mean, what do you say?
I hear you, Geraldo. I hear you. You know, but I just watched a story about it, New Mexico, the video that Leo talks about. I mean, there's tragic loss of life in interaction between human beings that are police officers and human beings who are being pulled over, and it is tragic loss of life. That is the way I see it, regardless of the color of the people who are involved. We're waiting for the governor, he's speaking right now. He's got a lot on his plate. Tim Walz in